Hi guys, it's Yafa. I've got another video to share with you. And I wanted to do a little haul. I got some foundations and also one glowy primer that I wanted to share with you my thoughts on them. So there's a little mini review. And I like to do that when I do a haul because I figure people are wondering, what'd you think of this thing? So I don't just like to do a straight haul. I like to give you my thoughts as well. So, the first one I wanted to talk about is this Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. Now, this one is, I'm not sure about the price exactly because it's like different prices depending where you look online. I can't remember. I know I got a discount on it when I purchased it, so I think it's around $12.99. I'm not sure 100%. But you get 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters of product, and it's got a nice glass bottle, so it's like really luxe feeling. I really like that. And it's got a pump, so and really glowy. Here, I'll put some on my hand. So that's really great to use under foundation. I noticed that it was bothering my skin, but then I've become very sensitive to fragrance as well as sunscreen. So there's some other ingredients I don't always know what it is that bother my skin. But this one does, I think, have some coconut in it. So maybe that's what's bothering me. But so I may have to give this to somebody else for them to enjoy it instead. But I did use this underneath the foundations for a glowy primer to see what that would do to the look of the foundation, so that you should know that it was consistent throughout. And then if I wasn't using a glowy primer, I was using the Faced Rx Hangover Primer, but this was not part of the haul that I'm doing today, and today is all drugstore products. But I just wanted to mention that I had used this underneath, just so you know where I'm coming from, because it tends to be that when I put on foundation, it's just better to put on a hydrating primer at the very least. It seems to make the foundation look better on my skin. So, and I don't recall what the price of that Too Faced primer is. I will put the price below just so you know for reference. If you have sensitivity, by the way, and I didn't purchase these in this haul, but I have found that the Loreal Lumi Glotions, I have them in 2 shades, work well and they don't irritate me. So I guess it's because they don't have any fragrance or anything in them. So I would recommend those if you want a glowy primer that's not going to be irritating. At least I found that's true for me. Anyway, the first foundation I wanted to talk about is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost, and this is the hydrating foundation stick. So this one was like $15 or something, and I thought to myself, wow, that's getting pretty steep for foundations from the drugstore. But this is the one that I am wearing today, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I really think it's amazing. This one you get, excuse me, I think my brush just fell. Let's see, 0.29 ounces or 8.2 grams of products. And yes, so this is $15. I believe I said that. And I got these things at Walmart or Target. So so this is a stick foundation. This is my first time trying a stick foundation. And this is in the shade Buff 30. It's a pretty good match for my skin tone, I have to say. And I have another foundation from Neutrogena, which is the same color, and it also seems to match me pretty well. So that's why I kind of picked this one, thinking that, it shouldn't be too far off. So when I put this on, and I'll show you the methods that I used for putting these on. So Sorry, my brush is really dirty. I've been using it. I didn't get a chance to clean it. But this is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. And I find this really, really good for buffing in product. And also I have a beauty sponge. This one is the Real Techniques one. And so for most of these, I did use a brush, and I'll tell you when I didn't. So I used the brush, and this one itself has a pretty glowy, dewy type of finish. Like, I think when it dries down, it's about more of a satiny towards dewy finish. So I don't think that you need a hydrating, I don't think that you need an illuminating primer. Like, a hydrating primer is a good step. But as you can see, it doesn't settle into fine lines. It looks like skin. This is awesome. And the color, the coverage is actually, I would say, medium plus, that you could build up to full coverage. I am not wearing concealer on my face, just under my eyes, and I have a good amount to cover. So that to me is like amazing, that I don't have to use any concealer. I would say that you should set this one a little bit with some powder. And I did use a setting spray at the end. Like, if you plan on going anywhere, doing anything, I think for longevity, you should use a setting spray. I can't really comment on the long wear, you know, the amount of wear that you get out of these foundations, just because in general, I don't wear foundations for a long period of time. And I just don't. I take them off after I do the video. Otherwise, I'm using the IT Cosmetics CC cream, as you well know. So I just tend to use that, and everything else doesn't have sunscreen necessarily. So I'm not necessarily wearing it when I go out. But this is an awesome, awesome product as far as just coverage goes, and the look of it is so nice. It's very skin-like. So I was so super impressed with that one. And as I said, I did use a brush to buff that in. I prefer brushes to sponges. You know, everyone has their preference. The second one that I got and I want to talk about is this CoverGirl TrueBlend Matte Made. Mine is in the shade L15. Now, I would call this my winter shade. It's a little bit light for me. But, you know, I could make it work, and of course I could keep it for winter. This has a little bit more of a, I guess a tiny bit leaning pink in the color. And I, you know, normally I do not like matte at all, and I would shy away from that. And this one went on really nicely. This one is, let me just check the price. This one is about, I think, $6.50 to $8.50, depending on what shade you are. I'm not sure why there's a range, but you get 30 milliliters of product, or 1 fluid ounce. And you have a pump. Sorry, it's dirty. I did not clean that. Sorry. And this one really, it surprised me. I was like thinking, oh, Matt, I'm going to hate this. I really will hate this. But I didn't. I really liked it. And I found that there really wasn't much difference when I used an illuminating primer or not. So that was interesting. But I did use the brush to apply it, and it went out really nicely, and it didn't settle into fine lines. So I really, really enjoyed this one. And I was so shocked. So I like it, and I may try to get a different shade for the summertime, but this is a good one. So, yeah. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. And this one is in Buff Bisque. Now, it's, let's see. This one's, I guess, $4.68, something like that. So you get 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters of product. Now, I think Tati raves about this one all the time, and I somehow did not like this one. It's quite a thick foundation, and I'll show you. It's got a paddle, so I just like kind of took the paddle and kind of like wiped it on my face, and I did not like the way it looked with a brush. It just seemed very heavy, and I then tried it with the Beauty Blender. So it thinned it out some, and this color is a little bit off for me. It's a little bit too dark. When I used the sponge, then the color was a little bit, like, it was closer to something I can get away with. So I didn't quite match the color, but that didn't really matter for me. I mean, I used the glowy primer underneath. It did make it look a little nicer. This one does dry to kind of, I would say, a satin finish. I think the matte one is like not a true matte. I think the CoverGirl matte one was like kind of a semi-matte. So maybe that's why I liked it. But this one I found, first of all, I hate using a sponge. I would always prefer to use a brush. So when I have to get out a sponge and wet it and then, you know, apply the products and everything, it's like, oh, I feel so put out that I have to do that, all that work, you know. So I'd rather reach for a foundation that's a little easier, that all I need to do is, you know, reach for a brush. So that is not in its favor. If I found a color match, I really don't think I would go through the effort, because I have other ones that I like more that I don't have to use a sponge for. So I guess there you have it. The only other thing that I want to mention about this is that I found that you can't build up the coverage. It kind of stayed at medium, and if I didn't mention, the CoverGirl matte one was about a medium coverage. This one, although it's like a thicker formula, you couldn't really build up more coverage. It was just medium plus. So, I mean, there you have it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe so you can catch more of my future videos. If you want to be notified when I upload, then you can click on the notification button and that little bell. And thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Facebook at Yafa Real Beauty for updates. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye.